And a very pleasant good afternoon to you. We are just barely noon here, Mountain Time, and it is so good to be with you. There is so much going on in our world today that I thought part of this is to have dialogue. And perhaps you live in a pretty tight-knit community where you don't have exposure to a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts that are from a wider perspective. And after really working and traveling in different parts of the world, I feel like I have a great perspective, and I want to bring you in on part of that perspective, because part of having empathy is having understanding for others' perspectives, for other lifestyles, for other ways that people do things. And we become very myopic when we think, well, it's my way or the highway. Only I have all the answers. And I think that's actually a very pedestrian way of thinking, is that we have all of the answers, that what I believe is 100% true. Because if we can just dispel that belief a little bit and just say, well, what if I'm not completely 100% true? What if I don't have all the answers? And I think with social media right now, we become so entrenched because we have our values, we have our belief system. We say, I'm 100% right, and anybody who doesn't believe what I do, then they're wrong. And I'm going to start throwing bricks and rocks at anybody who doesn't agree with me. And to be honest with you, it's not a good situation on social media. And it's not that I've become some self-appointed peacemaker. I just believe that I have the resources to help try to bring us together. And on Sunday, I saw a video that I'd like you to watch, and then we're going to discuss it on the other side. So we're going to watch a video from Damarr Jones, and I saw this posted Sunday, and we're going to start with that. But just as a lead-in, my guest is an actor, writer, model, director, and motivational speaker. He currently works as a nuclear engineer for a United States Air Force contractor. Through his community outreach platform called Elate the Minds, he speaks to thousands of youth across the state each year. He will be the featured speaker at the Strengthen Your World Leadership Experience, June 5th and 6th. That's tomorrow and Saturday at the Miller Conference Center in Sandy. For more information, you can go to strengthenyourworld.com for complete details. Let's watch this clip, and we'll talk to Damarr Jones on the other side.
What's up, y'all? This is Damarr, and all this is these Daily Jewels. This is just me in the wake of seeing how things is going on out there with everybody. And I see it's getting wild down there in downtown City, Salt Lake. Trust me, when I say these things, and I know I'm gonna get a lot of backlash and whatever, and I'm prepared for it and whatever. This is just social media, so it's whatever. So, but I walk around as a black man every day. I don't have to buy a Black Lives Matter shirt. I ain't got to do none of that other stuff, extra stuff. I ain't got to do none of that. And I truly believe in a peaceful protest. Show strength in numbers. Show people that you're done and you're tired. I'm tired too. I'm right there with you. But the stuff that's going on right now downtown, when nothing has happened here, is you protest for a result. What result are we getting here in Utah? Do you want the cops to come outside and say, you know what, guys, we're going to change everything. We're going to do what you ask right now. What are we asking for? What are we even protesting for? When you go out there in those streets and you flip cars over and you throw stuff and you break windows and all these kind of things, what are we doing it for? Because if it's for Black Lives Matter, I appreciate and I love every single one of you. And I love the support as a black man. I love it. I love that you guys are so passionate. But there's a right and wrong way to do everything. Tearing up the city, and you don't even know what cause you're doing it for anyway, or you got your cameras up at the same time. The people that are dead can't see your feed. The people that has died for this can't see your feed. Who you're protesting for are the men that are setting up downtown, getting ready to storm down on you and throw tear gas in your face. Are you ready when that happens? I heard a lot of people saying, oh man, the SWAT's coming, let's leave. You don't know what protesting is if that's the reason you're going to leave. Now I'm asking all of y'all right now. I love the support, and I love as a black man that there's a lot of people coming around to stand up for us and do what's right. And I love that. But there is a right way and a wrong way to do everything. If someone took your brother here in Salt Lake, go out there and be violent and angry. But if the laws have never done nothing to you, but you just trying to stunt for the gram and twerk on cars and all that kind of stuff, this is not what this is about. This ain't about that. This ain't about that attention. We don't need that. We need to see them same people out there flipping cars over at the polls, voting to get new people in office that's in charge of the police. We need that. We need somebody in office that's going to fight for us. We need that. The thing is, I am feared. I don't want fear. I don't want when people see me to think that that's the dude that's going to flip over and burn a cop car. I want people to be able to look at me and be like, that's my brother. I'm going to treat him as such, not an animal. So while y'all out there flipping over cars and doing all that craziness, knowing that you ain't doing nothing but invoking more fear, that's the reason why we getting killed in the first place. Folks is scared of us. So if you want to make some real change and you want to do something real for your community, I advise every single one of y'all, when them polls pop up, make a stand. Don't be too tired to be at the house. Oh, I can't do it right now. I wish I could have got out there to vote. Oh, I wish I could have did this. I wish I could have did that. But you the first one with your camera up out there flipping over cars and doing craziness. Or you ain't keeping yourself out of the judicial system to even be able to vote. Us as human beings, we all know what's right and what's wrong. Breaking property, they ain't got nothing to do with the struggle or nothing like that. Ain't got nothing to do with nothing. And I'm sorry if I feel so passionate. I'm sorry if y'all think I'm certain kind of way or whatever, because I'm at my house right now holding my dog. Yeah, when all this rioting and stuff is over, I got to walk these streets as a black man. So you can feel how you want to feel. But I'm at them polls every time they open up. I'm voting every time they open up. And I don't see nobody. I see a whole bunch of white folks voting. They getting what they want. Because they done read about it. They understand the law. They understand the system. They don't went to do what they got to do to make change. I don't see my people out there doing it. And if half of the people that's out there doing it don't even know who they voting for, they just got their cameras up at the voting booths to show people I did it, so they can say they did it. But what you doing it for? I encourage all y'all to find out what you're doing it for. The people in the civil rights movement, they needed that change right now. And it was happening all over the United States. They had their sit-ins. They got attacked by dogs and sprayed down, and they still didn't move. And they attacked the actual people that oppressed them. Now, what are you out there doing it for? Hey, man, come at me negative or positive. What do you want to do in the comments? We can talk about it. I know some people that can help you talk about it. And I'm going to do it in a very peaceful way. And I just want to put people on knowledge. And every time I see somebody that looks like me in the street and they struggling, I'm just going to try to help in the best way I can to show them that there's a better way. Even though the world don't feel like they love you, I know somebody that loves you and he look just like you. Show me love in a different kind of way. Don't make it worse for me. That's all I ask. Don't make it worse for me. I got it bad enough already. I love every single one of y'all. Y'all be blessed out there. Peace.
Damarr Jones, thank you for joining me today for a chat.
Oh, man, I'm so happy to be on this platform, man. Well, hello. How you guys doing, man? And I know you see the sun.
That was rolling into even another one if we want to go there. I mean, wow. You are just so good.
That is I've been doing that D's Daily Jewels thing for now 2 years straight, every day, every weekday.
Tell us about that. Let's go back to your other video.
Yeah, dude, it's D's Daily Jewels, man. I feel like every morning some people need to be woken up to something positive and good in their life, because a lot of people dread going to work. They dread what they're about to see on social media. They dread all these things, and I just want to be the first voice they hear in the morning and let them know that it's okay. Breathe. You got this. Let's go. And I do that. I've been doing that every morning for like 2 years. But yeah,
Well, that's
it's grown
great.
into something else. Yeah. So,
I need to
but
get
this,
a daily dose of D. I loved how you said
yeah,
you don't need vitamin D, you need me.
that's it. You go out there and get some vitamin D, or you can get some vitamin me. That's it. That's it. Oh man, I'm
Well,
glad you got me on here, and I'm glad you introed with that video, because let me tell you, from that video stemmed over 300 emails. It stemmed a lot of people in the community hitting me up and wanting to know answers, and it was a lot of positive and it was a lot of negative that came with that video. And this is giving me a chance and a platform to explain that video to a T. A lot of people were offended that I said this is Black Lives Matter was extra stuff, but I wasn't saying Black Lives Matter was extra stuff. I mean that I don't believe in all the other stuff that comes with that, and I'll explain that, what I mean by that. I come from a gang background. I come from being around some of the most vile people in the world, and it's only because that environment warranted that kind of behavior. I wish that a lot of people could live in that circumstance and see how it is day to day living in a world like that. But a lot of people won't get that aspect of things. And so it's on us as people who've gone through, made it out, and seen what that can do to a group of people, to educate people and to tell them that that's not the way and that's not real life. That's just a circumstance. And that you can change that circumstance. And so when I made this video, it was basically to those, because I had seen some stuff that day that shook me to my core. I saw people defecating on cop cars. I saw all kinds of things, like people dancing on top of cop cars with their cell phones out. And some of the narrative of some of the live videos and stuff like that, it saddened me, because none of it was really talking about George Floyd, and none of it was really talking about the struggle that was going on and the fact that we need to unify and that we need to fix our justice system. It was something else. It was a chance for people to show out. And that in itself is a way to put it negative on the people who are trying to make change. That part is what I was talking about. Now, I understand rioting, I understand protests, I understand all that to the core, because they say people take on the characteristics of their oppressor. And if you've looked at any kind of history, and I applaud anybody to just go out there who's out there doing the research right now. If you look at any kind of history, when the world felt like we were out of line, what they did to correct us was burn down everything we owned and take us back down to our place. And so when you are taught those things, you act those things out and you bring that back, because that's all you know, to be heard. To be heard, you know, you have to do something that shocks or out of the norm or make people uncomfortable. And I get that. And I'm all about that, because sometimes as Black people, we don't know what to do. We've done everything. We've peaceful protest. We've done everything, literally everything. Seems like every decade we have to do something else. And then it gets to a boiling point to where you can't do anything anymore. So what's left? What can we do? It's sickening sometimes, and some of the things that happen is horrible. But what I'm not for is the people who have no idea what this is about, or don't even do it for the right reasons. That part makes it hard on me, and I don't need that, or my people. If you to think about the Black Panther movement and the stuff that broke away from that, you know, these prominent gangs in the world came from that. They were just a group of men who put together an organization to save their community. And it was called Crips and Bloods. And they did that to save their community from racist cops and injustice. But it took knuckleheads to take that and make it to something negative and never bounce back. So now when we see gangs, we affiliate gangs with bad things, and this is bad. And they've taken on that persona because that's what people assumed that they were. And then those knuckleheads became more knuckleheads and became more knuckleheads. So now it's something else. They're doing the same thing with the Black Lives Matter movement. There's some the Black Lives Matter movement is a nonprofit organization now that helps the Black community, and they do it in a positive way. But you're going to catch those people who are out there for the wrong reason, who's using that name as an excuse to act out their violent tendencies or things that they have going on in their lives, and it's shining a bad cloud on the movement. Like, don't take away the movement. The movement is, we are tired of social injustice. We are tired. We are tired of not being heard. We are tired of not having people have empathy for us. We're tired of all of that things. Like, we want to be humans. We want to be equal in every form or facet in life. And there's always going to be those knuckleheads that do it for the wrong reason. And then the media is going to take that part and they're going to shine on that part. And then the mission and the thing that we're working so hard for is now shot in the foot, and it means nothing. And so when I made that video, I was passionate about it because there is a lot of people that really don't understand that this really is something that's horrible in our community, and we need all the support we can. But with that support comes the understanding that these people are people before this protest, after this protest, and we need all this to be for the right reasons. If I'm going to break something out of frustration, not break something to gain something. Like, I don't want you out there stealing things and getting shoes and telling your friends to come on, man, they out here looting. Let's go get this TV. Is that what you're doing it for? Like, we're not doing it for that. We want our point to be heard, and that's it. As a people, a lot of change is happening right now because everybody's decided to unify, and that's the beautiful part, because that's all we ever wanted, was people to all be together and understand that there's pains in each society and to address what's going on at the moment. As a brother to the human society, to everybody that's in this fraternity together, as a brother, I just want to see us all come up and understand each other. That's it. And the only way we can do that is educate, make real change, make policy changes that really will help. If it's the police that's the problem, hey, let's make it so that they get training longer for their psych training. Let these people do a stint in the community service in these neighborhoods, in these bad neighborhoods. Get to know these people. Get to know the leaders, and then know why they're protecting and serving these people. Something has to change from the inside out. And I believe that can happen in the polls. I believe that if people start getting knowledge on how to vote, how vote affects, how it goes from region to district, how it goes everywhere. Like everybody has an office to be upheld, and you get a chance to decide that. But a lot of people won't take that time, but will do all the crying. I had mentors that told me back in the day that if you cry with no solution, all you're doing is crying. It doesn't mean nothing. So what happens when the crying stops? What happens when everybody's done crying? What's the next step? I'm going to figure it out. We all have to figure it out together so we can live in some harmony right now, because right now this world is looking bad. And as I look down my timeline, all I see is arguments back and forth between the All Lives Matter and the Black Lives Matter and all this kind of stuff. And we've totally missed what we're trying to do here. We're trying to unify and get justice. That's what we're trying to do. Arguing is only going to divide us. Listen to divisive talk is only going to make it worse. Find ways to listen and understand and come to a point of agreement, and then go from there. And so that's why I posted that video that day. And a lot of people took what they wanted from it and they ran with it. And I get it. People are going to dissect everything. But the main purpose of that video is, do not make it hard for the people you're so-called protesting for. Don't make it harder for them, but find a way to make it better for them. That's it, if that's what you're out there to do. And a lot of people miss that point. And they're just using it for a time to just be anarchists and just angry. And I just want to tear something up, because that's the reaction. That's the knee-jerk reaction to when you've been mistreated.
And it's been a perfect storm. I can't think of a greater recipe for disaster than the way this is all played out.
Man.
So before this happened, let's stick us in our house. And I understand politicians did what they had to do, right? And they're still trying to figure out the data. Should we even be talking to people face to face?
Right.
But we were, cooped up for months, and then this happened, and then all of a sudden we're out in the streets. And I too was sickened by what I saw on the streets of Salt Lake City this past weekend. And then I saw your post, and I said, again, who am I to get in this dialogue? But I think it's all of us taking some responsibility to get in the dialogue and say, how do we come together? Because it's going to be dialogue. It's not going to be through violence and throwing things at each other. We need to sit down and work on solutions together.
Right.
So, Damarr, give us a little bit of your background. You now live in West Valley, Utah.
Yeah, so I'm
bring us up to this point.
I got out of the military here in Utah.
Did you serve?
Air Force. I was in the Air Force.
Thank you for your service.
No problem, man. It was a major part of my life. Like I needed that. I needed that more than I knew. So it changed. It made a man of the man who wasn't a man for a long time.
You grew up in West Valley?
So I was born in Riverside, California. I was born to a father who was in the military, and my parents, I think, divorced around when I was like 4 or 5 years old, and I've been going back and forth between those two for a long time. So I've been in Arkansas, Michigan, just always constantly moving around. So I've seen some of everything from Arkansas and the South. The South right now is very little change. It's very little change from everything. And then you go to somewhere like Michigan, the Midwest or something like that, where you have a melting pot of people. And I went to Michigan and all I saw was people who looked like me. I didn't see a lot of white folks at all when I was in Saginaw, Michigan. It was like I went to all-black school. So I was in Saginaw, Michigan.
Saginaw.
Yeah, and I was at an all-black high school where it was like literally all black. You may see 1 or 2 white people in the whole thing. And then I did some high school time in Clovis, New Mexico, where I got my basketball scholarship to Eastern New Mexico University. I went there for a little bit, and you just get awakened to a lot of different cultures, a lot of different things. And you either grow to learn and listen to everyone, or you can be the stubborn one to be like, you know what? It's just, this is me. I'm not going to conform. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to be this. But in some way, you kind of take on your environment. You listen to people. You see how people work. You see how people move around. You see all this kind of stuff. And there's a lot of people hurting. There's a lot of people who won't get out of it. There's a lot of people that don't have any kind of empathy towards anything else besides their cause. And there's those people out there. And there's those people out there. But I want to be a champion for those who want to have this thing unified. And I've seen it all. And so I do that. I'm also an actor. I also, with a group of men called Inglewood Films, there's 6 of us. We make our own films out here in Utah. We got tired of being the people who never got cast, and we're tired of that, and we made our own content. So far, we've won over 11 awards since we started making films from all over, a couple from LA Film Festival, all these things, man. We're doing great things out here as a collective. And it's been fun. It's been fun to put that creative content out there to the world. And I also, me and my brother Tua Keloa, Elate the Minds, we go out and we speak to children in juvenile detention centers. We give them food. We talk to elementary students. We talk to middle schoolers. We talk to high schoolers. We just go out there and we go into these bad communities, and we teach these kids that they're not their environment, that they are their environment. And if they want to be the change, if they want change, then they have to be the change. And that the things that they see around them all the time is not real life. It's just what the situation they're in right now. And if they really worked at it and they got hard and went hard at it, they can get out just like we did. And that's what we do. We build positivity to these kids or give them encouragement where they don't see it every day. And so I'm also a father of 4. I'm married. I never thought, I told my kids the other day, I never thought in a million years that I'd be in a position to even have a house, not alone have children who are doing well. Like they've taken on the acting bug. They've doing their thing. They're very successful. I look around this stuff sometimes and I cry to myself. Like tears come down my face, and I was like, man, if everybody knew that this was a possibility, what our world would look like. Because to be honest with you, a lot of the violence that we see in these communities and stuff like that is literally because all the resources have been stripped away, and we have to try to get it the best way we can. And sometimes that looks violent. And you say you lived in Chicago one time, and I know Chicago is probably one of the leaders in neighborhood violence and all that kind of stuff. It makes the news all the time, how much senseless black on black crime that happens out there. And it's really a lot of the time they're not afforded the things that everybody else in the world has. And so they have to live by that animal mentality, because they say if you have a nice utopia in an animal kingdom and everything, if they have all the resources, they'll never turn on each other. But if you slowly take away food and you slowly put them in places where they can't succeed, they're going to turn on each other. And that's just how society is also. So when you see these young men out here and they're hurting, they're doing stuff that you know is wrong, they really have no guidance, or they are in a situation where they feel like that is the only way to go, because how else can they get it? And so it's on us as community leaders and people who have a voice, and people who know how to create change, to go out there, talk to them, learn, give them resources, teach them things, teach them a trade, give them an opportunity to spread out past their community. And not only will you see violence go down, you'll see a unity like you've never seen before. And you'll see a people that will grow together and learn from each other and make the society better. And so I've been doing nothing but thinking since Saturday, since all this stuff popped off. How could I get my feelers in this community and get people to spread the knowledge, spread the word of how you can make things better, and not be afraid to go into these communities and talk to these kids, and not be afraid to give them access to things that they never knew they had access to. And once that happens, you'll see the change. Like you'll see the change, and it'll be a life-safer place for people to walk around and be cool. I love Utah. I love Utah for the people that are in it. This place moves different. Because every now and then you'll catch it where everybody will unify, and it's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen in your life. And I have never seen it before until moving here. And there's bad eggs everywhere. There's bad stuff everywhere. There is. It's not to be. It's all, you all got to be able to just go in there and just understand and try to make the difference. And I think that's, as a people, I think that's what we need to do, and that's how we're gonna get real change.
How old are your kids?
My kids are 17. I have a 17-year-old son. I have a daughter who's about to turn 10 in 2 days. I have an 8-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, and three of them are girls. My oldest is my boy, and they break me every time. They know how to break me down to the core. So,
how did your world change 17 years ago when you became a father? What did that do to your world?
You know, I never knew the real definition of love until you have something. Because for a long time, everybody looks for the definition of love, right? And everybody wants to try to find out what is love and how does it feel to be in love, and everybody has their own definition of it. But my definition personally is fear. Fear is love to me. Love is fear. They can't go together. So
how is love fear and fear is love?
So here's the thing. I don't know. I don't know what your religious background is or anything like that. But I am a firm believer in the Bible. I'm a firm believer in God. I don't practice any religion, but I'm a very inspirational man. I believe in God as a whole. And God often tells people, is oftentimes in the Bible where you hear fear God. And basically what that means is when you truly love something, you're afraid to lose it. And the word afraid in itself, meaning that you don't know what you would do or how you would be if you all of a sudden lost that or whatever it is. And that's that pure love, that's the one that'll make you jump in front of it to save it from a bullet, because that's things you do for your child. Those are the things you do for the things you really love. You don't want to lose your child, so you will love it. And it's a certain type of love that's like, man, I created this. This came from me. Even when you have a spouse or anything like that, man, if you look at your spouse and you can be like, man, I don't know if I could ever move forward without this person, because they give me everything that I need. And without them, I can't. That's love to me. So the fear of losing it, the fear of not having it around, and I believe, and you respect fear. You respect love. You respect the fact that if you do something bad, you can lose that. And that's the same with God. You love him, but he asks you to fear him, because when fear is, you're afraid to lose him. You're afraid to lose his guidance. You're afraid of all those things. But so when I say a fear, I mean that more of a afraid type situation, which is still a kind of fear. So yeah, I associate those two together. You
More
love
of
him
a
to
fear
death.
of loss.
Yes, fear of loss. If fear, yeah, it's not the scary fear. Like I'm actually
Not the
afraid to see.
paralyzing
Yeah,
fear.
I'm not not that. I'm the scared aspect of, hey, what will my life be like without you? Like if you can, and to all you dating out there and you young girls and young men and stuff like that, if you finally find somebody that matches your love and your hue, it's that moment where you feel like, I just really can't imagine my life without you, and I'm scared to live this world without you. Then you can say, I love you, baby. Yeah.
Because we have the fight,
Yeah.
flight,
Mhm.
or freeze,
Yes.
right? It's just a natural instinct. Love, though, is learned.
Yes.
We can all learn how to love first ourselves,
Yes.
right? We talked
Yes.
about this in a program we did yesterday about children in crisis and how they're
Wow.
facing so much anxiety, depression, and suicide because they just don't have acceptance and love within themselves. Therefore, they
Wow.
have nothing to give. So, what you're talking about too is the same thing.
Yeah.
As we look at our community and healing, we have to heal ourselves first. We
Yes.
really have to get ourselves and our hearts in check.
Yes.
Then we can reach out to others. I think the media has it backwards in some respects because they're all spreading the fear.
Mm-hmm.
I call them the merchants of hysteria. And after being in media for the last 20 years, for me to indict them, I have my reasons, but they're inciting so much of what we do. If you look at us now versus where we were as a country in 1968, there are so many parallels of what's happening in 2020 that are almost identical, even with a space mission and everything on the positive side.
Why?
But what we didn't have in 1968 is the proliferation of media. The
Yeah.
media is so fragmented, and you can turn on news cycles that are 2 minutes anymore, and then something's breaking news, and this is on fire, and this person's saying this, and we are so consumed by that it's so easy to hide behind a screen and just spread the vitriol and the rage at our friends. And I've never seen more people recently unfriend each other over this whole thing since the
Right.
pandemic started, right? Because you don't believe what I do, so Nick say to you say, and we are so much more divided because of
Divided.
media. So let's use this opportunity to continue to widen the discussion, not shut it down.
That's crazy. Because you know what? It's like, man, good news and positive talk is boring. Nobody
Well,
wants
where are
to
you
see
going to
it.
find it?
Yeah, nobody wants to see that.
Or where are you going to find it?
I don't know. It's like, it's so crazy because I told my wife, I was like, I do these daily jewels every day. I may get 35 views. But when I get in there and I'm controversial and I'm passionate about something and it can be something to be argued, it went viral. I go, what is going on? And that's what the media sees. Like, okay, we can
Oh,
talk about
sure.
we can
They
talk about the
love the
we
clickbait.
can talk
It's all
about the
about the
space
clickbait.
launch. We can talk about the space launch, but man, they're tearing up stuff. Let's go ahead and put that out there. Let's go. Like let's do that part, because that part is gonna get us these ratings. That's what's gonna get us these ratings. It's not that positive stuff not gonna get these ratings. That conflict, and we're gonna get ratings off of that. And then we can flip that any kind of way to keep it going.
And some people don't really step back to know that's exactly what they're doing. So you could take an aerial shot of Los Angeles or Minneapolis, drop any of these news crews.
Right.
You're going to go over and you're going to fill the frame with a few people throwing rocks and a building on fire. that fills the frame. You can stay with that and just loop that for the next hour. And before you know it, it's Armageddon. So that's why we really need to step back. And to your point, find some good news.
Find some good news.
I've tried to be a light, and every once in a while, I'll be candid with you, Damarr. I get sucked up in it, right? If I listen to a radio program or something, and then I get on a little soapbox. And then to your point, boy, then the proliferation of comments and fingers one way or the other come into the post.
Yes.
But for years, I try to share positive affirmations, quotes, pictures, stories, and they'll get one or two comments or likes. But boy, pour some gasoline on something negative, and wow, everybody just goes crazy.
It goes crazy. I think that mentality.
So what can you do to try to be spreaders of light and good news? Because I love how you're saying it.
So I just told my son this too. I was like, you know what? I did my share of deleting, but then I realized I stopped it. I stopped deleting. Deleting people. You know, when you see something you don't like, I stopped the deleting because it's actually doing the thing that we don't want them to do. I don't want you to shut me out. I want you to hear me. So I'm going to hear you. I'm going to hear everything you have to. I can notice you. I don't have to engage, but I can notice you. But what's cool is if you're a friend on my page and I'm a friend on your page and I do post something and you may like that, and then we get into a conversation, and then the next thing you know, when we're starting to conversate, then you're like, oh, you're not the thing I'm scared of. You're something else. You're awesome. Let me give somebody else a chance. Well, let me give somebody else a chance. And then the next thing you know, we start to really unify. So yeah, I'm not going to delete anybody. I want you to see everything that's going on. And I want to see everything that's going on so I can learn. I want to be able to learn about the human. Everybody comes from different angles, different personalities, different upbringings, all these type of things. In order to be a community, you have to know what the community is about. And so instead of deleting all these people, I'm going to pay attention to you. And every chance I get, I'm going to try to educate you on where we're coming from. Now, you might delete me, but I won't be the one deleting you because I want you to understand that this is something else. I'm not going to run from it anymore. I'm not going to shut it down. Just like I don't want you to shut me down or run for it anymore. This is a problem. As humans, we got to talk together. We got to be together in this. So shutting each other out is just definitely not the way to communicate. They teach us in communication class, you enter communication to gain value. That's it. That's why we communicate as people. That separates us from the animals with four legs.
We've developed echo chambers, haven't we?
Exactly.
So to your point, when we're shutting people out, saying you don't qualify to be in my little box, you're always just talking to people in your little box.
Exactly.
And that's what we're trying to do today is
take them out that box.
Talk to more people, because I didn't see that you and I have very many mutual friends when I connected with you. So hopefully now your 50,000 people and my 20 people can come together.
We'll come together and make something great. And we got a similar background. We got a similar background. We know the same people. We go with some of the same places.
Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy. We didn't never know that.
I don't know Damarr. I just saw his post. I don't know how I saw your post, but you showed up on my wall.
Yeah.
So we must have been connected somehow. Then I saw your video and I reached out and said, hey, let's just chat, brother. And then before we got on the air here, we had a little discussion just so that we knew each other a little bit.
Yeah.
I was blown away at how our paths almost crossed.
Like it's so crazy.
A couple of times. And we know very much the same types of industries we've come from.
Right.
As far as acting and film and acting coaches. And
yes.
I mean, I know that we had the same acting coach years ago, but I'm much older than you are. So,
but I just have daughters that pluck out the world. I just got daughters that pluck out the gray in my beard, man. That's what they do. They see that it's getting old, so they get tweezers, and that's my therapy at night. They pluck out all I know it's weird. It's
Look,
strange. I don't know.
I had a full head of hair about 3 years ago. Started going gray.
That's why I'm wearing
Don't
this hat.
do the pluck method. The pluck method does not work.
Don't work.
No, I just
It
thought
don't
you just
work.
eradicate the gray stuff. And
Right.
no. I should have
Right.
not started plucking, because once you pluck one hair, this is what
That's
happens.
they say. That's like 3 comes. Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. Yeah, but that, you can't tell them that. They see that as,
But we
you know,
do have so much in common if we just sit down and start talking. So when you and I started just sitting down and saying, well, where'd you grow up? And tell me more about this and this. And you're like, well, do you know so-and-so? And I was like, do you know so-and-so? And we have so many more similarities than we do differences in the world.
It's insane. It's
First
so
of
crazy.
all, we're all human beings, all trying to survive, basic shelter, clothing, food, jobs, all that. We're all in the same boat. We all love our families.
Yes.
We all may look a little bit different. As I've traveled the world, I would have just been getting home from Eswatini, Africa today, had we not had the pandemic.
Wow.
So our trip to Eswatini, formerly known as Swaziland, we obviously couldn't get in the country with the pandemic.
Right.
Last year when I was there, just learning one more culture, being amongst my
beautiful.
my Swazi brothers and sisters just changed my perspective. So that's why I just strongly believe we have to widen our horizons.
Yes.
We have to sit down. How did I really get to understand the homeless situation better? Was to volunteer and work in the homeless shelter, to sit down with my homeless brothers and sisters and understand where they're coming from, to understand which ones had mental health issues and which ones were coping from other issues.
Yes.
That's the only way we're going to understand how to love each other, is when we start to have empathy for each other.
Yes, for sure. Man, I'm all about that, man. I'm so.
If you have comments for Damarr, please just add them to the comment section. We're getting a number of comments, and that's terrific. And I know these types of videos actually get a lot more traction in the rebroadcast.
Yes.
When they go back out. So even as this comes back out, I hope people will add things to the comment section so that we can keep this dialogue going. And Damarr, I would love from time to time to have conversations like this with you. I just think you have such a wonderful perspective. Where does your love come from? Where did you learn how to have such a big heart and love like
What's funny is my grandparents and my mom, the people who lived in it, who lived in the Jim Crow and the desegregation of everything, and who lived in all of that. They lived in all of that. So it's crazy that I got my love from them, because that's a place where you wouldn't expect it to come from.
So how did they position all that with you? Because I be bold in saying it this way? They could have totally been.
They could have made it to where I was anti-white. Don't stay away from those people. All that. They could have had all that narrative. My mom was not that. My mom was like, respect, act out of respect. My father's a man of God. He taught me all about God. We read that thing from cover to cover. We understood the differences between cultures and people, because that's how he raised me and my brother. He's Secret Service. He was just Secret Service for the president when Obama was in office, and now he works down in Texas as Border Patrol. My family does great things because we had a strong base, and a lot of people don't have that. My base was strong. Even when I was at my knucklehead, when I was at my worst point in my life, I always had a father that I can call on to give me that spiritual guidance, and a mother that would give me that real talk. Not that, don't pity yourself. Don't ever pity yourself. And when you see people, treat them with respect, and talk to them first. Get to understand them first, because you will be judged your whole life. That's what my grandmother used to tell us. You are going to be judged your whole life. It's on you to show them your value. And the only way you can show them your value is to actually sit down and talk and learn from each other. That's what my grandma taught, because that's what she wanted to see. And that's what my mom wanted to see. And so that's where we got that from good, healthy conversations as a family. That hate is not going to make it there. And to be God-fearing is to love everyone. because that's what he does. He loves everyone. And so if I want to be a man like Jesus, why am I sitting here trying to pick and choose who I want to be kind to? So that's where my love comes from, when it comes from everybody, because everybody comes from a situation that they were either dropped in or had no idea how they got there. So it's on us to really find a neutral point, and we can probably laugh about some of these things, and then we can probably move forward and figure out that we come from the same fight, and it's not, this fight is going to last forever. So let's find things that we love and then grow from there.
And we all have our stuff.
We all got our stuff. We all got our stuff.
And when we
Everybody.
sit down and we start sharing our stories, and we don't need to be our stories, we need to move on from our stories, right? But when we recognize that, oh my gosh, you went through this and I went through this. And I was just checking my notes because I thought I saw on one of your posts where you just talked about the real answer to all of this is to truly listen, not just pause.
Yeah.
So you can interject what you now want to say, but really coming to an understanding by listening to someone else's point of view.
Communicate to gain value. I'm going to hear what you have to say. I'm not waiting for my turn to interject and just like Charlie Brown, the Charlie Brown teacher voice. I'm not trying to do that. We're not doing that. I really want to hear what you're saying so I can give you a proper response. And I want you to do the same with me. And that's how you communicate effectively, to not talk over someone or to shut them down from their feelings. You'll have a better relationship if you do that. You'll have a better relationship with your kids, wife, everything in society. You have a better situation if you just actually actively listen. Just listen to the cries. Listen to everything that's going on. And then come up with a solution afterwards. That's the only way we can get this going.
How are we going to do this right now where there's just so much noise? And frankly, on both sides, well, and I think there's multiple sides, right?
Yeah.
To what's going on there. It's not like there's multiple or just one side of the story or two sides of the story, because you've got, factions on each of the political sides. With those who are protesting, you have protesters that are doing it peacefully. You have rioters, you have looters, you have people who have less than righteous motives to stir up the whole thing. How are we ever going to come to the table and listen with all of this noise?
Be a pebble in the pond, my friend. That's all it takes, is one pebble dropped in to cause a ripple of everything. Just like the officer on the neck of that man caused this big outrage. That was a small pebble in a very big pond that caused a ripple throughout our whole nation.
The whole world.
The whole world. Yeah, the whole world.
That, right?
Just like that, the whole world. So as we keep dropping these pebbles of positivity and unity, maybe that'll catch fire also. But that's all literally what we can do, is listen, try to make change effectively, and to see what happens. Everything takes steps. It's not going to happen overnight. It's not going to instantly happen. But with every individual that has the same mentality, if they all drop into the pond, we'll get a lot more ripples, and we can try to bring some sense to all this. But it's just going to take one person at a time, really, literally one person at a time, to not block people out, but to actually listen and then try to make creative change.
Well, then let's make that the purpose of this in our discussion today. Is I accept the challenge more so than ever before to be a light, to be an advocate for love. And again, for those who will then play this video back to me a year from now and say, look, you weren't perfect that one day. Okay, I'm human. I make mistakes. But I'm going to challenge all of those who are watching this from my network to be that pebble in the pond.
That's it.
To figure out a way every day to somehow make a difference.
That's it. That's all we can do. That is literally all we can do.
So what would you like to say to my network who are watching you today?
I thank you for taking the time out to even watch this, and to actually be one of the listeners we was telling you about, to actively listen and hear what we have to say. I speak for a majority. Like I said, there will always be those knuckleheads that would just,
I like it.
they're
Knucklehead.
gonna knuckleheads. They're just gonna be them guys that's just always gonna want to do the most radical thing all the time and really do it just because they feel like they need to get that out. And that's what's gonna happen. It's gonna be that, but it takes a group of people to make a great change. And so, thank you for taking the time and listening, and thank you for supporting this guy, man. Because everything he's doing right now, hey man, everything you're doing right now, I looked at your page. I love it. I love how you're bringing the love into this. I love your platform. And I like to think all your listeners are on that same page. And if they're not, hopefully they are understanding after this right here. They need a little bit more listening, a little bit more compassion, a little bit more empathy when it comes to the human nature. So this is good. I love this. So I appreciate you for having me on. I really do.
Well, they're pouring out their heart to you, and
I can't see it. I see it like I can see a small face.
oh yeah, because you're watching on your phone. So I'll watch. Yeah. Sometimes it can be distracting.
What's the name? I saw Lana. What's the name? Lana.
So Lana Christiansen says, "Thanks for introducing us to this amazing man, Coz. So wonderful to meet you, Damarr. Love your heart and message."
Thank you. Bless you. Bless you. Yeah. And I see Kathy too. Bless you.
Kathy says, "Damarr, thank you for taking the time to talk to us."
It's all what we're in this for. We're in this together. I'm in a mixed. If you don't know, I'm in a mixed relationship. My wife is white. My kids will never understand the stuff that I've gone through, but I'm giving them knowledge to understand that we're all the same people. We're all the same people. We love the same. We hurt the same. We've lost. We've gained. Everybody has a story like that to tell. And when you actually get to know each other, then that's when
at the risk of being too personal then, so you're in a mixed marriage.
I'm in a mixed marriage.
You told me in our little get acquainted dance before we went live that you didn't get it right the first time. You've been married a couple of times as well.
Yeah. I didn't get it right a couple of times. A lot of that was all on me. Huh?
Do you have children with your current wife?
Yeah, that's 3 of my girls are from my current wife. My son is from my first marriage.
Gotcha.
And his mother is Puerto Rican.
Talk about those dynamics.
Dude, his mom's Puerto Rican. So they're all mixed. My second marriage, we didn't last long. She was a white girl too. And my wife currently is a white woman still. And I come from a family background where that didn't happen. That didn't mix. Nobody really mixed like that. But now my dad's in an interracial relationship. He's been married a couple times. And my mom's been in a mixed relationship. It's all about knowing that literally everybody has the same stuff. Like we have the same stuff. Whether I close my eyes or what, and I talk to these people or talk to anybody, we can have the same exact stories, and it's insane. I remember for a long time, you hear when you're kids, white men can't jump. Well, I know some guys that can jump real high that are white. Or you hear, oh man,
not as high though.
Yeah, white folks can't sing. White folks can't sing like black folks. Oh man, I've seen some that'll knock your socks off. And it really comes down to what you know and what you're able to do. It ain't got nothing to do with skin, religion, background, nothing like that. We all come from the same stuff. We really do. And love shouldn't have no boundaries. And getting to know somebody should have no boundaries. So that's what I teach my kids. No boundaries. Come across everybody with respect. And there's going to be people that don't like you. And there's going to be people that try to do you harm. But at the end of the day, they don't represent everyone in the whole. It's just that person. And if you feel in a certain way, it's you who feel that way. And maybe you need to change, or maybe you need to do your homework and find out why you're so angry, or be really in tune with your feelings and really, really check yourself so you can be able to talk to somebody with a clear head. Because if you got anger and rage and all that stuff on the inside of you and some issues that you haven't quite dealt with in yourself, you're not going to be able to communicate that effectively out to anybody. So you got this time every day of your life to check yourself. That you can do that every morning. You can do that all day long, is to try to check yourself before you go out there and put the image to somebody else that's not great. So
can you imagine how much time, and even more important, I mean, we only have 86,400 seconds a day of time, right?
Right.
We only have so much energy, but think about how much energy and time we are wasting harboring hatred and just being angry. What if we could channel 1/10 of that energy into love? Talk about a ripple effect.
A super ripple effect. Yeah, it would be crazy. It would be almost beautiful to see, man. It'd be beautiful to see.
And it's possible.
It is possible.
We've seen it. We know when, the comments are popping up here. I don't know that we'll get to all of them in the time that we have, but just hearts and love and thank you for the conversation. This is good dialogue, and eventually we'll figure out the whole pandemic thing, because I don't know, as of like last Thursday and Friday, social distancing went out the window. So I don't know where we're at with that.
It went out the window. Yeah.
So I look forward to getting to know you better, and let's do this again for sure.
Let's do it. And to the viewers out there, I don't know him. He's not my friend. This was not a fake interview. We really just got to know each other right now.
We did not know each other from. I just saw the video and said, I want to talk to this guy.
I just got a new friend today. So at the end of the day, I just got a new friend. I got a new friend, and having a lot of friends is not a bad deal. And I got a new friend today. And
you can never have too many friends. I found that.
Never have too many friends. Yeah.
We were talking about this yesterday. The path to one's mission in life can be very, very lonely at times. You talk about a pebble in the pond. I want you to know that it is very. I'm going to let you in for just a second, and I alluded to this a little bit yesterday, but it's a battle sometimes to stay true to that mission, to try to make a difference, because some days you do lie there in the dark during those dark nights of the soul, your own private hell, and you say, am I making a difference? And I just want us all to know, and I'll have to tell you how my saboteur worked, because I saw your video on Saturday and I thought, I want to get to know him. I want to understand him. But then that natural negative saboteur says, who are you to reach out to that guy? And then I reached out to you, and we didn't connect right away because you were like, well, it's Sunday. And so then your mind plays games with you. Well, maybe he doesn't really want to talk to me. He's just being nice. We need to get past all those movies we make in our head and just make a difference every day, as hard as it is.
Oh, man. I had like so many invitations to get on podcasts and talks and all these kind of things, and so many emails and messages, and we need to meet up here and do all these kind of things. I literally got drained. I told my boss when I went to work, I was like, hey man, sorry if I'm in a funk, but it's literally, my mind has been melting over all this that's going on in a different aspect. For people want answers, and a lot of times I don't have those answers, but I can tell you the model of how I've lived my life, and maybe you could just join in on that. And like I said, I'm at the polls all the time. I do my research. And, I found out who's the representative of my district and all these kind of things. You have to do these things if you want your environment to change. You have to do the little things, like be a real citizen, be a citizen, go out there to the people, talk to people. Don't be afraid of people. When I see people, when I go out, I smile through my mask and, hi, how you guys doing? Hey, what's going on? Like, smile at somebody every now and then. Like, one smile is a key to just a lot of things. It takes people's little, it makes people calm. It makes people calm. Like, I can't be afraid of somebody that's smiling at me. But you walk around like this all the time, it's causing some unnecessary rift in this energy pathways that we're supposed to be sharing with each other. Like, let's just smile and smile. Easy steps.
I completely agree with that. I lived on the road for years, and we're on hundreds of flights every year, thousands and thousands of miles. And I was that guy. I'll admit it right now. I was that guy who actually enjoyed traveling. In that I always had great experiences of, watch, I'll bet I can get 5 people on this airplane to smile.
That's so good.
Or
so good.
You're sitting across from somebody at some restaurant out of town, and you're like, well, there's a friend I haven't met yet. And I know some people will say that's the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah.
But I want you to know that I have so many wonderful relationships around the country that would have never existed had I not broken through that plexiglass that
Wow.
now is real in our worlds
That's powerful.
and just said, "How you doing?" I have had some of the most amazing experiences.
Man, I tell
Just
you.
because I lean to the left and lean to the right, sit down now, and got to know those people. So I think in our communities we need to do this.
We need
Talk
to.
to the person. I mean, when we go to the Tony Robbins events or things like that, talk to your neighbor on the left,
Yeah.
your neighbor on the right. We really do need to turn and talk to our neighbors.
Yeah. Man. It's just that simple sometimes, man.
I
But
think it was.
it's gonna take work.
Yeah, it was Will Rogers who said, "A stranger is just a friend I haven't met yet." And so me,
That's
that's
deep.
part of what we're talking about as well, is let's just make some new friends and, and some real friends, because
Real
I
friends.
could have just connected and we're friends on Facebook, but this is
Right.
healthy dialogue.
This is good. This is good.
Let's
All right.
conclude today with understanding about an event that you're going to be a part of tomorrow and Saturday at the Miller Conference Center in Sandy. It's the Strengthen Your World Leadership Experience. Tell us more about that.
So it's basically it's a conference. You come together. There's a lot of influential people out here. There's a lot of people who are maybe starting off in business or just want to be around like-minded individuals. So you can come out to this event. And I think it's sold out right now. We're doing another one in August and we're doing another one in September. And there'll be times where you can get on there and register or whatever. But it's basically come in here, learn how to be a leader, learn how to be able to be get some I'm lost for words right now. You can come in there and get around some like-minded people who are all in agreement of going forward in life and stepping out into things that you never thought you'd be able to do. Like, and you'll hear other people's experiences that maybe you have something in your business where you're kind of just hung up. You don't understand how things work and stuff like that. But we're there with different workshops. We're going to be able to talk to you. We're going to share stories. We're going to share all these different things. And we're going to give people encouragement to just keep on going and just help people out. And it's basically strengthen your world with what we're doing. That's basically what we're doing here. We're going to strengthen your world just a little bit, make you better.
Let me see here. I had pulled this up. Let me share this. I will say for our viewers and listeners, as of right now, I went onto the website before we connected for our interview today, and I used I hope it's okay to say this, I used the promo code Jones.
Come on. That's it. That's what you're supposed to do.
I used the promo code Jones, and I think it was like $300.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Ticket. So
yes,
ticket was only $197 for the 2 days when you use promo code Jones.
Yes.
So
yes, it's worth
the website there is strengthenyourworld.com. Again, strengthenyourworld.com. It is tomorrow, June 5th, as well as Saturday, June 6th, from 8:30 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Miller Conference Center over in Sandy. So I hope to see some of you there. I just bought my ticket, so I will be there.
It's going to be powerful. It's going to be good. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be good. So we're going to be talking about everything. We're going to help people grow and develop. And you're going to meet some new people. That's what we're here for at Unity, right? We're going to meet some new people. We're going to rub elbows with some people. We're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. We're going to smile. We're going to join. We're going to just help people get their lives better. I love watching people get the aha moments. Oh, I love man. It's just that simple? Yeah, it's really that simple. You've sold yourself short your whole life. You know you got so much potential in you. Yeah.
It's always simple, isn't it? It's not easy. It's not easy.
It's not easy, but it's always simple. Yeah. Taking that step is easy. Actually coming up with the courage to take that step sometimes is hard.
Well, the first step is always the hardest, isn't it? But the first step, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with that first step. And how many entrepreneurs, how many community people just don't take the first step. I've been amazed at that since I left media and have been doing a number of different things. And people have asked me, how do I do this? How do I do that? And I've got to be honest with you, I've coached a lot of people.
Right.
And so many of them are just paralyzed by that darn fear, like you talked about, right?
Fear,
You gotta take that leap. It's a leap of faith. It does. It sucks. It's scary. But please don't be paralyzed. Fight, flight, or freeze, and don't freeze.
Don't freeze. Don't freeze. That's it. Yeah,
Jump.
Yeah, that's hard. It's so
action.
empowering. It's so empowering when you do too.
And you know what we were talking about before we came on the air too. It's a tough world out there. The whole world has changed, and I don't think we're ever going to go back to the old normal. We've got to figure out what the new normal looks like.
Yes.
And over the past 2.5 months, 39 million unemployed Americans.
Tough.
We not only have to decide what the new economy looks like, we have to reinvent ourselves. And as I went through the list of speakers at the Strengthen Your World Conference coming up, that's what that's all about too. We do have to reinvent ourselves. We can't do it the same old way, or we're going to go the way of the buggy whip maker. The car is here now. We can't make buggy whips anymore. It's a new economy. It's a new day. We have to accept the responsibility that we now have to adapt to what that new economy looks like. There's going to be new businesses, new services that didn't exist.
Yes. It's time to start using his brain. It's time to start getting better. Like, use it. What else you got to do?
We better take this time to.
Yeah.
The more we learn, the more we earn. We'll end with this comment, but agreed. I like this. It says from Craig Christiansen, can't turtle up, gotta skill up instead.
I like that, Craig. I like that.
Can't turtle up, gotta skill up instead. So for you men out there, man up and skill up. And ladies, you do your thing too. Damarr, it has been an absolute pleasure to get to know you a little bit better in this forum, and I look forward to getting to know you even better and
future talks. I'm
the man behind that, a very handsome man that you are. So thanks for being a wonderful messenger of light. You're a great man. I sense that, and I know that.
All right, man. Appreciate. I'm happy to meet you, brother. This has been wonderful. This has been a wonderful part of my day. Actually, a highlight of my week. So thank you.
Well, thanks for kicking your daughter out of her bedroom and
I know
her room for those few minutes.
yes. The only quiet spot in the house.
He was so good. Before we started, he goes out in the hall and he's like, okay, now girls, I'm going to be doing this live thing. So I need you to be quiet.
Yeah.
Daddy,
they look at me and they go, because they've been homeschooling. They've been homeschooling. They've been telling us the same thing. They've been telling us, Dad, you need to be quiet. I'm on there with my teacher and my friends. Okay, I got it. So we got an understanding now.
I'll bet you're a great dad.
All right, man. I try.
All right, peace, brother.
Take it easy, man.
Love you, man. Have a good day. And thank you, everybody, for joining us on this edition of this live broadcast. And we will see you again here soon. Have a great day.